welcome to my Pins and Needles Christmas vlog. I'll be posting this on Christmas Eve, so I hope this finds you all sitting down quietly with a large drink and a Christmas Eve cast on, and not frantically still knitting and wrapping Christmas gifts, but we shall see. I have donned my jingly reindeer antlers for you today, my Christmas tree earrings, which also jingle. They get quite irritating, so I can only wear them for about an hour, and my Robin's Christmas jumper. So I'm about as festive as it's going to get. And because hopefully this will be a slightly shorter podcast, cup of tea. Okay, so what I was going to do was show you a couple of Christmassy things that I've made in the past that are part of the Carter family Christmas traditions now. Then maybe a few of the decorations on my tree. I've also got to decorate my mantelpiece in here, and one viewer commented the last time that it was very good of me to confess that my mantelpiece does not always look as tidy as when I podcast, so I thought I'd show you what it looks like the rest of the time, like a before and after, so you get a little bit more of the real me. Right, so first up, I wanted to show you something that I knitted before I started the podcast. Just need to find my notes. So there are various people in my family that I knit for, and my parents are two of those people, and Mum and Dad both get a pair of socks every year. It's usually Christmas, but Dad got his for his birthday in the summer this year. But I knitted my mum a lovely pair of socks, and I finished these in March, and my first podcast wasn't until May, so I thought it'd be worth showing you. So here they are. The pattern is Zora by Regina Satta. You can find it on Ravelry. I can't remember if it's paid or not, but it's a lovely pattern. It's a cable and rib pattern. I'm afraid the light, I wanted the Christmassy background, but the light isn't fantastic, but I'll show these as best as I can. So it's a cable, 2 bands of cables here, same on the other side, with a large stocking stitch panel in the middle, and a 1x1 ribbed cuff. It's sparkly yarn. You see the colour any better there? Not really. The yarn was dyed for me by Ellie, my friend. She is on Etsy as Tyddyn Bryn, still on maternity leave at the moment, but will be back soon. The pattern is for a 64 stitch sock, and I knit these on 2.25mm needles. Now my mum has a pretty standard UK size 6 foot, but they were supposed to be a surprise. So I knitted one whole sock, exactly as the pattern said, and I was worried it was a bit too small. So the next time I saw Jenny, she has similar size feet, so I took it to Jenny and she tried it on, and she could pull it on, but it was really quite tight across here, this distance here. So I'd knit a whole sock, so I ripped it out, and I cast on 4 extra stitches. I knit these magic loop. So where you've got, again, I'm not sure if you can see the detail, where you've got these bands of stocking stitch in between the cables, those bands were supposed to be the same number of stitches every time they occur in the sock. You've got 4 of these stocking stitch panels in total. So all I did, I was knitting these magic loop. So this is how they are on your needles. So I added 1 extra stitch at each end of the front and of the back, which just meant the side panels by there were 2 stitches wider than the front panels. But it really doesn't matter, you can't tell, and now they fit beautifully. So yes, Christmas socks for my mum. As I said, I've had those done since March, so I'm really pleased I remembered where I put them. So Mum, if you're watching, Christmas. Next up, oh, I need a drink before I tell you about these. I wanted to knit to my children some big Christmas stockings that we could hang above the fireplace as decorations before Christmas Eve, and then the kids could take them up to bed with them Christmas Eve for Father Christmas to come and put the presents in. Now, 2 Christmases ago, Claire, a friend of mine on Ravelry, kindly bought me a pattern, and the pattern was called A Collection of 3 Christmas Stockings by Dorene, Delaney, Giordano. There's a mouthful. I'll put all of the details down below in the show notes. And this is a beautiful pattern, wonderfully well written, and obviously 3 children, I had to make 3 stockings. So Claire bought me the pattern Christmas before last. I decided I would cast on in January 2015, and then I would have a whole year to knit 3 Christmas stockings. Well, I mean, you can guess what happened, can't you? I cast on in January, knit about that much, abandoned them, and picked them up again in September. So September, October, November last year, all I knit was Christmas stockings. Oh my God, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. And by the time I got round to hanging the bleeding things up, I was so over these stockings I could barely look at them. And I haven't finished decorating the house this year, but I've just pulled the stockings out of the box to show you because I couldn't even bring myself to hang them up. Anyway, so here they are. So this is the first one. All 3 are knitted in the same yarn. It's King Cole Merino DK in the colourway red. I can't remember the number. And the cream is Sirddar Balmoral in the cream. It's the same yarn I used in my epistrophe cardigan. It's discontinued, unfortunately. So there is a 1x1 ribbed cuff, and I put an I-cord loop on the inside. And then the pattern is wonderful. She has a choice of sort of band motifs for you to choose from. So I picked leaves for this one, a gorgeous Norwegian star pattern. It was a short row heel. And then the patterning continues all the way down the foot, and then a normal wedge toe. So yes, there's stocking number 1, and you can see they're pretty enormous. I wanted big ones so that they would look nice on the fireplace, and also so you could, Father Christmas obviously, could get lots of presents in. So that was the first one I made, and I was worried that presents would catch on the floats on the inside. So when I had finished all 3 stockings, I lined them. This is just some cheap white cotton jersey that I bought from Butterfly Fabrics in Cardiff. And I don't know if you can see, but I hand slip stitched the top down. So all I did was when I'd finished the knitting, I drew around it on a piece of paper to make a template and then cut out the fabric. So that's the first one. And then this is the second one. So I chose a different border pattern for the top, and then slightly more geometric stars for this one. Same pattern for the sole of the foot, and I do like the striped gusset decreases. That's really fab. All the way down to the toe, and I repeat the same border pattern on the toe as I do for the cuff. So there's another one with its loop, and again fully lined. And then the last one, yeah, different border pattern again. I think she had 6 or 7 different choices of border pattern, and again a very geometric design in this one. There is I don't know if you can see, there is a very slight jog in some of the pattern. Yeah, you can see it a little bit there, and that's because you're knitting in a helix, so you're bound to get a jog stripe, a jog effect when you're knitting it. And there are tips and tricks for doing that for avoiding that jog with a striped pattern, but I don't think it would have worked with Fair Isle. And plus I was knitting hate into every stitch at that point anyway, so I really wasn't going to do anything else. And I mean, from the front you don't notice it, there's no jog on the front, and from the side, I mean, unless I pointed it out, you probably wouldn't have noticed. And so there's the third one. So yes, I'm very glad I knitted them. And I have to say, they do look lovely when they're all hung up. 1, 2, 3. And the kids absolutely love them. I was going to make one for Dave, but I ran out of yarn and was just so over these stockings by the time I finished that I will never knit another one again. But yes, so all 3 stockings fully lined, and I'm really pleased. The wool is lovely, the pattern was fantastic, and I'm hoping that these will last the children a lifetime, and that when they eventually, please God, move out as grown-ups and decorate their own houses and have their own children, that this will become a part of their tradition as well. But yes, it's still a bit too soon for me to fully appreciate the glory of those stockings. It's my own fault. Right. Ugh, stocking fluff. The other thing I made last year, I don't know how you do it in your family, but Christmas morning, the kids wake up, the stockings are filled on the bottom of their beds, and then they bring their stockings into bed with us, and we all open them together. And Father Christmas usually brings a stocking for Dave as well. And because we're all on the bed and the dog jumps in as well, it's absolute chaos. And the kids were sort of, you know, they'd lose something under a pillow or a bit of the duvet, or the dog would eat some of their chocolate, or they couldn't remember whose little toy was whose. So I used to write their names on a freezer bag and just pop it in my bedside drawer. And then when they started opening presents from their stockings, they'd each get a bag, a plastic bag, and they could put their bits in there and it would keep them all together. And that worked fine, but it's not terribly festive. So I decided to make some Christmas sacks, Christmas drawstring bags for them. I can't remember the pattern or where I got it from. I'll see if I can dig it out. I might have a note of it somewhere. So this is the first one, and this is mitten fabric. Can you see? I love this. The scraps that I showed you the other week were left over from this. I bought all of these fabrics from City Road. So we've got mittens with a nice red top and stars on the inside, and they're all drawstring with a toggle. And I found some ribbon. Where did I find the ribbon? I think I found it just in Hobbycraft, which is our big commercial craft shop. And it says, "Love from Santa." So one with mittens. And then I did manly stags. I think this one was Dave's. So pointy reindeer. I think this one was Max's. I love this. There's something about the blue, the little touches of blue with the Norwegian stars, that really makes this. And again, all lined with starry fabric. And then I think this one was Jocelyn's with Christmas trees on, because who doesn't love Christmas trees? So yes, I made the bags, and I made the stockings, sort of all as a set. And that was my handmade Christmas last year. So last year I made these rather than gifts, handmade gifts for the kids. So there you are. And it was nice to get them out again this year. In spite of what I said, I do love the stockings. It was just 3 stockings in 3 months, essentially the same pattern, even though the designs were different. It was just too much. Right, so that was the things I wanted to show you that I made. I wanted to show you these. My mum doesn't knit a huge amount. She's an excellent knitter and a very good sewer, but she's a very busy lady. But when she does knit, she likes to knit the tiniest, most fiddly little things that would drive me absolutely spare. And the kids' school has a Christmas fair, and she often knits little fiddly things that we can fill with chocolates, and they use to raffle off to raise money for the school. So one year she knitted some little Santa Clauses, and the kids loved them so much they wouldn't let me give them all to the school. So they got to keep one each, and they come out every year and they sit on our tree. I'm afraid I don't have any idea what the pattern is. I suspect it might be a Jean Greenhow pattern, but don't quote me on that. And it's just, you know, standard 100% acrylic yarn. And there he is. And look, the legs are individually knitted balls, stuffed and then joined together. I mean, good Lord. So there's foot, 3 balls for the legs and the body, 2 little arms, and then a beard, a knitted garter stitch beard. And these are, you know, it's seamed up the back. It's quite an old standard British pattern, so lots of them are seamed. And a bobble hat. Oh look, I've spoiled him now. There he is. So we've got 3 of these, and the kids put them on the Christmas tree every year. And again, when they move out and have their own Christmases, they'll each have a Santa from Grandma. Tuck him on there. And then this is another pattern that my mum knitted for the school Christmas fair. And they're just little Christmas stockings. And these are knit flat and seamed. Again, scraps of acrylic. She added a bit of tinsel and a hanging loop. And yeah, we just tucked chocolate in them. And the school sold raffle tickets. But again, the kids loved them. So we kept a few and put them on the tree. What else do I want to show you? Oh, I don't know if you, any of you that have been with me since the beginning, I went to the Toft alpaca farm back in the summer in the open day. And I bought a little alpaca. He's an alpaca made of actual alpaca. And he comes with a hanging loop. So he's on my tree. Ooh. I'm allowed every year to buy one really nice Christmas tree ornament. When we first started having Christmases together, Dave and I, we bought a dirt cheap tree that came with a load of plastic balls. And then very soon after we had the children and we had cats, so I didn't bother replacing the cheap plastic balls. But as my cats are no longer with us and the children are getting a bit older, I've started replacing them. And this is one of my most favourite. Look at him. He is a felt ornament and he's a Welsh dragon and he's got gold toes and this beautiful braiding and he's breathing fire, but the fire's got a bit wonky. So I love him, and he's one of the decorations that I wrap up in tissue paper and is kept in a rigid box so that he doesn't get damaged. So he's one of my favourites. What else have I got to show you? Oh, these. I'm going to have to stand up and get it down. Now these, before I moved to Wales, I lived in Stratford-on-Avon with my family. And on Henley Street, just opposite Shakespeare's birthplace, there is a Christmas shop and it sells Christmas decorations all year round. And it is beautiful quality, gorgeous decorations. And I went in there one year and I broke my only one decoration a year rule because these were so beautiful. Look, these are glass. And I just love them. They are icicles. They have a little hanging loop at the top. And I don't know if you can tell, you can see it at the bottom, but all of the shaft is textured, like water running down the outside of the ice. And I bought 6. They came in 2s, but I bought 6. And they are my absolute favourite. I love them so much. And they are quite delicate, so the children are not allowed to touch these ever. And I always put them at the top of the tree so that they don't get knocked by the dog or by Christmas presents or anything like that. So I love these as well. What else have I got to show you? Oh, right. Now this one I bought when I went to the Tower of London. This is the Tower of London as shown in the Bayeux tapestry. It's slightly squishy, it's a little bit stuffed. And I studied Norman conquest history for my masters. So I bought this to remind me of that. And again, it's a precious one that goes on the top of the tree. This next one is another favourite. My mum bought me this one from the shop I mentioned, and it has its own tiny cardboard box. Look at that. Beautiful glass chandelier. And when the lights are on the tree, it catches the light and sparkles. There was a slight accident. One of these spines broke, but I managed to glue it back on. And because the underneath of it is quite lacy, you can't really see the damage. So that's another one of my favourites as well. And the last one I was going to show you is, this was a Christmas gift. Every year, my knit group, my local knitters, we all get together and have a Christmas knit. And we have food, and there's a secret Santa, and it's generally enormously good fun. And one of our number, Alison, hi Alison, oh, when I wave, I jingle. One of my number, Alison, is a good crocheter. And one year she crocheted everybody's stars. Now I think crochet is absolute magic because I just can't work out how to do it. I need to block this out again, it got a bit squashed. But just, I mean, it's simple, but it's beautiful. And I normally sit the other end of the sofa over there. So I let the kids decorate the tree, apart from my special glass ornaments. And then when they go to bed, I rearrange the tree, not so it's symmetrical and everything's exactly, you know, perfect. I rearrange it so that from my favourite knitting spot, I can see all of my favourite ornaments. And this is one of those. So that goes on the tree as well. So, let me just carefully pop those back down. So there we are. So that's my knitty things and my favourite tree ornaments. What I was going to do next, there might be a bit of editing in this podcast just while I move the camera around. I'm going to swivel you round and show you my mantelpiece as it is. I haven't moved anything, so I'm going to show you my mantelpiece like it is every day of the week. And then I've still got to decorate it. So I'm going to try one of those fancy tricks where you film something and then you speed it up super fast, and then you'll be able to see my living room Christmas mantelpiece. So I hope you'll find that interesting. So hang on a minute and I'll shuffle and show you. So, full disclosure, here is my standard mantelpiece. I got some boxes of Christmas decks. There's a bit of Lego just down there, look, and some reading books. And I think that's Jocelyn's pencil case on the floor. So there's my full fireplace that you can't usually see. And this is a gas-fired fireplace. It does look quite, you know, quite good when it's going though. And there's a box of comics and some more bits and pieces. So this is what I normally have. My candlesticks you normally see. And look, that's a picture of Dave and I on our wedding day. That's the river in Stratford-on-Avon. Here's one of my sisters-in-law. My smelly candle. That is Conrad when he was about 2.5 or 3. And my little tacky Christmas tree. My mum bought me this last year. I absolutely love it and Dave can't bear it. Now these mushrooms always make an appearance on my podcast as well. Now these were a gift to me from Ellie of Tyddyn Bryn, and when she got married a couple of years ago, these were the centerpieces on the tables at the reception, and they were handmade by a friend of hers, and I was one of the witnesses, so she very kindly gave me one as a little thank you. So my mushrooms are always on my mantelpiece, and you see them in the podcast. Oh, I think that's Dave coming home. I filled the hall outside with rubbish you probably can't get past. And then this is baby Max. Oh, Claire. There's Max when he was very little. Super cute. And there's Jocelyn. Again, I think she's about, just over a year at that age. And she's not cuddling a potato. It was a soft toy with a brown hat on at the time. And there's my little gecko. What else have we got? Oh, some of Jocelyn's knitting. I did tell you that she does knit a few rows every 6 weeks, and there's the end of a fingerless mitt. So yes, there is the before shot of my mantelpiece. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to show you. I mentioned Ellie's wedding and the mushrooms came from there. And this, I need to bend down so you can see, was another one of her decorations. And can you see? It is knitted. Lots of the knitters in our group, but mostly Jenny and Ellie knitted. And we've got a little ladybird and leaves and all different flowers. I knitted some leaves, but not a huge amount. And then these are the bits of fabric that she had as her table runners. And again, she very kindly gave Jenny and I one of these each, and it hangs on the inside of my living room door and is absolutely beautiful. Right, so what I'm going to do now is find somewhere to set up and then decorate my mantelpiece. And you can see the before and afters. Well, that's the end of my Christmas vlog. I hope you enjoyed my Christmas decorations and my crafty Christmas makes and my little bit of decoration as well. My next podcast will be going up New Year's Eve, so 31st, which I think is a Saturday, and that will be back to the standard format. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, or if you don't celebrate that, just a lovely break. Friends and family, hope there's a bit of time to knit. And I will see you in about another week. Bye.